Hello. So earlier today I made a tutorial on auto sheathing your weapon, like when you're not actually using it, when you stop combat for a little while. And I had noticed that I did something that's probably not the best way to do it. What I did here is I made it so it only works on the combat type melee. And after thinking about it for a minute when I was testing it out after, I realized that most likely you're going to want to use this function also on the bow and magic. So what would be better to do would be to get rid of this is combat type here, if you do want to use it for the bow and magic. And in the main event graph, you have your archery and ability events down here. You'll want to add this to the bow attack. I'm going to go ahead and add it to both the pressed and released so that it resets the time, when you press it and again when you release it. You could even put it on the shoot arrow also, so every time an arrow is actually shot, but it's going to have basically the same effect as the released here because this is what shoots the arrow anyway. So you don't really need to put it up there. And in the ability events, you have the input action ability attack. You could also put it here on the ability change. So if you're changing abilities, it also delays it. I'm actually going to do that. And if you use this special attack here, you probably want to put one here as well. Because you don't want it to seethe while you're trying to use that attack. Or right after you use it. And then here on the ability attack, you need it definitely here. So every time you use an ability, when you press it, it'll start the delay. And when you release it, it'll reset the delay again. Some abilities, like, I can't remember what it's called, but it basically, when you press the button, it shows an indicator that you can move around. And when you let go, it actually fires the ability. So you may want to make sure this delay time is long enough that you have a good amount of time between pressing the button and letting go, so it doesn't sheathe in between it. You could also make a check, let's see. Actually, we could use this is ability input pressed boolean, and you can make it, in this blueprint here, tell it to not fire off if the ability is pressed, and just to check again, same thing we do here kind of. But instead it would be a branch with the is ability pressed. And now with adding that, if we go to our bow, if we shoot it, we should be good every time we shoot our bow. It should reset that time. And if we let it sit, it should see that like we need it to. Yep, there we go. And if we switch over to our magic, we should have the same thing going on here now. So as long as we cast an ability, it'll reset it. But if we're not attacking, it should have the same effect where it doesn't reset our combat stance. There we go. for targeting an enemy. It should still work just the same with this. Alright, so yeah, that's probably the way most people are going to want to do it if you're using melee, magic, and archery and you want them all to have the auto sheath effect. So sorry I missed that in the first video, but I'll post this in the comment of that video, so hopefully everyone will see this as well.